Okay, we've learned how to do the electron configuration. It's time to learn something called Hund's orbital diagram. It's just a picture, that's all it is, a diagram of where all the electrons are in the atom. We know how to do the electron configuration now, so basically it's just turning that into a picture, and it's going to allow us to identify the 4 quantum numbers of the electron in the atom. So if you remember, there are 4 quantum numbers and their names are letters: N, L, M sub L, and M sub S. Okay, those are your 4 quantum numbers. So we'll be able to identify them using the Hund's orbital diagram. Okay. All right. So first you have to start with an atom's electron configuration. So if you recall, if we were doing oxygen right here, then you have the different blocks: the S block, the P block, the D block, and the F block. And if we're going to write the electron configuration for oxygen, we're going to go 1s2, 1s2, 2s2, 2s2, and 2p. There's 4 boxes in the P block, so we're just going to go 2p4. 1, 2, 3, 4, counting over like that. Okay, so oxygen's electron configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. That's a little bit of review from before. So now that you have oxygen's electron configuration, what you're going to do is create a diagram or a picture representation of each of the energy levels, basically, and the orbitals. So one thing that you have to understand is that an s orbital only holds 2 electrons ever. So that means you're only ever going to need 1 box, because 1 box represents 1 orbital, and the maximum number of electrons in an orbital is 2 electrons. A p sublevel holds 6 electrons, so you're going to need 3 boxes anytime you do that. Okay, so 1 box for an S, 3 boxes for a P. A D sublevel holds 10 electrons, so you're going to need 5 boxes anytime you draw a D sublevel. And an F sublevel, if we ever get there, holds 14 electrons, so you're going to need 7 boxes. There's 7 orbitals in an F sublevel. So back to oxygen. Oxygen we said is 1s2, so for 1s we're going to draw 1 box because we need space for 2 electrons. For 2s we're going to draw 1 box because we need space for 2 electrons. But for 2p we need the space for 6 electrons, so I'm going to draw 3 boxes. Okay, three spaces available to hold electrons. In the 1s orbital, we have 2 electrons. One spins one way, the other one spins the other way. So we draw 2 arrows, one up, one down, to represent the different electrons. In 2s, we also have 2. Look, here's 2 electrons going there. There's 2 electrons going there. One up, one down. And now here's where, at the end, you have to kind of be careful. For 2p and 2p4, okay, we have 4 electrons available to put into the energy levels. Well, just like kids on a school bus, that's why I call it the school bus rule, they don't want to sit together unless they absolutely have to. Okay, so Hund's rule says all orbitals of a sublevel will be occupied singly before any is doubly occupied. So for 2p4, we have to go 1, 2, 3. There's 3 electrons. Now you have to ask yourself, where are you going to put the 4th one? The 4th electron goes back in the first box. We're now going to double it up. Remember, the school bus rule says that electrons don't want to buddy up unless they have to, and they fill from lowest energy to highest energy. Lowest energy is at the beginning, highest energy is at the end. So we have to put that electron in this box right here, okay? Because that's the lowest energy, and that's the one that's going to double up first. Basically, it's like the seat on the bus that's going to double up first. So we have our final answer now, 1s, 2s, and 2p. That's the Hund's orbital diagram for oxygen. It shows the location of all the electrons. So let's go ahead and try another one now, okay? Let's do chlorine. So remember, first you have to write the electron configuration for chlorine. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p, it's 5 spaces over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3p5. There's 5 electrons in the outermost energy level. So to do the Hund's orbital diagram, you got to set up all your boxes first. So we have a 1s, 1s. We have a 2s, 2s, only space for 2 electrons. 2p has to hold 6 electrons, so we need 3 boxes. 3s. 3s is right here, only 1 box again. 3p, we have 1, 2, 3, so we need 3 boxes for 3p. Okay, so now that we have all of our boxes available, we're going to fill them up with our electrons. 1s has 2 electrons, up, down. 2s has 2, up, down. 2p has 6, up, 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 down, down, down. 3s has 2, up, down. And now always at the end is where you have to be careful, okay? 3p5. So to fill 5 electrons, we go up, 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 that's 3, and then down, down, that's 5, okay? To put the electron anywhere else would not be correct. You have to fill it from lowest to highest. You only want to double up the seats, quote unquote, if they have to be doubled up. So this electron on the end gets to sit all by itself on the school bus seat because it's the extra electron out of the 6, right? Or you need 1 more to get to 6, I should say. So that's chlorine. One more try. Let's do one more try. Make it a little bit harder. Iron. Iron is right here. Okay, so we have to go a little bit further. So for iron, it would be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2. Now here's where you have to be careful. 3d, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3d6. Okay, so we end up at 3d6. So let's make all of our boxes. It starts to get easier once you get along because really you just make the boxes, fill them all up with arrows except for the last one, and then see if how many you need to put in the last box, right? In the last set of boxes. So 1s is 1 orbital, 2s, 1 orbital, 2p needs 3 orbitals, 3s, 1 orbital, 3p, again, a p needs 3 orbitals, space for 6, 4s only needs 1, and 3d, now d is different, we haven't done it before. 3d needs 5 orbitals because you need room for 10 possible electrons. And in case you ever forget, look, the d block is 10 boxes wide. Okay, so that tells you that in a D, you need space for 10 electrons or 5 orbitals. So we're going to go ahead and put our arrows. Like I said, we can just fill these up real quick all the way because it doesn't matter as long as the boxes are full, because they will always be full until you get to the last set of boxes, the last sub-level, okay? So keep in mind, a box is an orbital. Something like 3D, that's a sub-level. A sub-level contains all of the orbitals. So for 3D, on this situation, we have 6. So we got to put 6 electrons in 5 boxes. So we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do all the up arrows first. And then our 1 extra down arrow is going to go back at the beginning of the 3D sub-level because we have to go with the lowest possible energy. So I hope you understand these. This is what the Hund's orbital diagram is for, or what it does. And so what it is for, we're going to look at right now. So once you have this, now you are able to write the 4 quantum numbers for your elements. So let's go back to chlorine again. And I've made a nice, neat diagram of chlorine. If we want to know what are the 4 quantum numbers for the 14th electron in chlorine, first of all, you have to identify what are your 4 quantum numbers. Well, it's going to be N, L, M sub L, and M sub S. Okay, those are our 4 quantum numbers. Now you have to figure out where is the 14th electron. I've highlighted it already in blue. Why is that one the 14th electron? Because you remember, you have to count in the same way you would have drawn the arrows. So we would have drawn these arrows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and now here's where it gets tricky, 13, 14. Okay, so the 14th electron is the second up arrow in the 3p, because you have to do all the up arrows first and then all the down arrows in that orbital. Okay, so that would be the 14th electron right there. So again, how I got there, I'm just going to show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I count all the up arrows. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's the 14th electron in chlorine. So how do you determine N? N is for the principal energy level that it's in. And in this case, the principal energy level that it's in is in 3. Okay, it's in the third principal energy level. How do I know that? Because it's in 3p. So 3, N equals 3. L, you have options. L can be 0, 1, 2, or 3, depending upon whether it's in an S, P, D, or F. In the case of the 14th electron, it is in 3p. Okay? So that means that P, right here, P, down in the lower left, the corresponding L number is 1. Okay? The corresponding L number is 1. So I'm going to write 1 for L because it's in a P. If it was in 3S, I would have written 0. Okay? Now we have M sub L. And M sub L is a little bit tricky. So the way that you go about doing M sub L is you have to label the boxes within the sublevel, 0 in the middle, count up to the right, 1, 2, 3, and down to the left. So in the case of this one, this box is labeled 0. This one is labeled 1, and this one is labeled -1. Okay, so we count up to the right and down to the left. If I was doing 3S, I would label this 0, and there are no boxes to the right or to the left, so I don't count up or count down. Let's say I had a 3D sublevel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I had a 3D sublevel, then I would label this 0 in the middle, count up to the right, 1, 2, and down to the left, -1, -2. Okay? And so if my electron were right here, then that would mean my M sub L value would be 2 for that box right there. So our 14th electron is right here. It is in the M sub L value of 0. Okay, it's in the 0 box. If we'd done the 15th electron, which would have been one more electron to the right, the M sub L value would have been 1 for that one. Okay, and last but not least, we have M sub S. If you have an up arrow, we call that +1/2. If you have a down arrow, we call that -1/2. In this case, my blue 14th electron arrow is pointing up, so therefore M sub S is +1/2. Okay, so we've just found all 4 quantum numbers, 3, 1, 0, and 1/2 for that exact electron. No 2 electrons will have the same quantum numbers. Okay, they just won't. Every single electron has its own specific address. If you'd gone to the 15th electron, everything pretty much would have been the same, except for M sub L would have been different. It would have been 1 instead of 0, right? All the other numbers would have stayed the same. But still, the point is that it would be different. It has its own unique address. Okay? This is a lot. I hope you understood it. Go back and watch it again if you need to. And ask me questions in class if you need help.